Russia is testing the North. Are we ready? Buddy, picture this. Day 1. A Russia spy plane skims our Arctic skies. In Canada, scrambles. If the North goes dark for 72 hours, sensors jammed, a research ship parked in the passage, and a submarine we can't even track under the ice. What happens? This is not science fiction. It is a real test of whether Canada can defend its own backyard. And if we fail up there, we don't just lose snow and ice, we lose sovereignty, safety, and the ability to call ourselves a serious nation. Russian aircraft routinely probe North America's airspace, testing NORAD's response time. Last week alone, NORAD scrambled jets to intercept Russian surveillance planes flying near Alaska's Abyss, literally a stone throw away from Canadian skies. Canada depends on U.S. fighters stationed in Alaska and Canadian CF-18s in Cold Lake and Bagotville to respond. Jets that are already decades old. The first what-if moment: what happens if multiple probe happens at once? Do we have enough jets, crews, and radars to catch them all? We don't. Not yet. Our Arctic over-the-horizon radar is still years from being operational. So, if the North is probed tonight, are we blind until the Americans tell us what's in our own skies? Enter China. Beijing is not sending bombers. They are sending research vessels and ice-hardened ships. Their so-called Polar Silk Road gives them a legal excuse to push through Arctic waters. In 2023, Chinese ships already conducted joint Arctic drills with Russia. Canada claims the Northwest Passage as internal waters. The US and China say it's an international strait. Here is the sovereignty nightmare. A Chinese research ship announces it's transiting the passage, sure, but it is escorted by a PLA Navy icebreaker. For safety, Canada has one heavy icebreaker, the aging CCGS Louis St. Laurent. Our replacement, the Polar Max, is under construction in Finland. Delivery date is 2030. So, if Beijing sails through tomorrow, who is actually stopping them? Ottawa's Coast Guard or Washington's Navy? Before we go any further, please like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. Subscribing to my channel is not going to cost you anything, but it does help me big time. Thank you. Now back to our topic. Submarines are the silent killers of Arctic chessboard. Russia has Arctic-optimized nuclear subs. China is investing in ice-capable patrol subs. Canada? We are still operating 4 Victoria-class diesel subs, bought second-hand from the UK in the 1990s. They spend more time in dry dock than under ice. Ottawa knows this, which is why it just shortlisted 2 foreign builders, Germany's TKMS and South Korea's Hanwha, to supply next-generation subs. But here is the kicker. These subs won't arrive for at least a decade. We have been NATO's slackers for years. Everyone knows it. The US spends billions protecting the Arctic skies, while Canada drags its boots, waiting for radar and icebreakers that arrive a decade late. Why didn't we do this 5 years ago? Because Ottawa loves to study, delay, and nickel and dime sovereignty, like it's optional. Here is the good news. Canada is finally opening its wallet. Defense spending is projected to hit 2% of GDP by 2025, 5 years earlier than promised. That's billions for submarines, radars, drones, satellites, and Arctic bases. Operation Nanook. annual Arctic military exercise is growing. Troops are training alongside Americans, Danes, Norwegians, and even Finns. Canada is pivoting towards Nordic allies, joining shipbuilding and Arctic defense projects. But spending is not readiness. Money does not equal speed. A radar announced today won't catch tomorrow's probe. So the question is simple. Can Canada rearm fast enough, or do we stay naked under the northern lights? It's midnight. NORAD radars show jamming Russian bombers test the Arctic eddies, while a Chinese vessel sails through the passage. Meanwhile, an unknown sub pings under Ellesmere Island. Ottawa's cabinet scrambles. But here is the rub. Ottawa has hours to decide. Washington does not wait. Do we scramble CF-18s that can't reach far enough without US tankers? Do we send our lone icebreaker to shadow a Chinese convoy? Do we pretend we can track the sub? The uncomfortable answer? Without US backup, Canada cannot respond decisively in all three domains. That's the harsh reality. Whom do you want to blame for this? Carney? Trudeau? Harper? This situation does not happen overnight. And that's the nightmare. Not invasion, but irrelevance. If the US Navy steps in every time, who really owns the Arctic? Here's the truth. Nobody is marching on Ottawa tomorrow. But Russia is probing today. China is sailing tomorrow. And the US will step in if we can't. The real question is not whether Canada will lose the North to Moscow, Beijing, or Washington. It's whether we will lose it ourselves through delay, denial, and dependence. If you have served, worked, or lived in the North, tell me your story below. Do you think we are ready? Or just hoping someone else saves us? Because this debate is not academic. It's sovereignty. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.